When I first started at Phil Whited, I was an aide. I folded laundry, I helped the therapist, I would clean up the ultrasound gel off the patients, things like that. So I pretty much started at a very entry-level position at Phil Whited. I was there to assist the physical therapists and make their jobs easier. So what I've learned throughout the years is it was a lot easier for me to run the business knowing exactly what everybody does, because I would do that, and then I started scheduling patients, and then I started helping pay the bills, and I just kind of worked my way all the way up to the treatment form of it and running the practice. When I was growing up, I did not know exactly what I wanted to be, but I felt I had an idea of what I wanted to be. I was born with a hearing disability. I had to wear 2 hearing aids to get through school and all that type of stuff, and I had a lot of speech therapy. So when I was growing up, I went to counselors and speech therapy and all that stuff, which is more part of the rehab field. So I kind of knew that that was my inspiration and that's what I wanted to do. So I did not know I was going to be a physical therapist, but that kind of guided me into some type of rehab field that I was going to do when I grew up. I was about 4 years old, going on 5 years old. I was not talking in complete sentences. My mom would ask me to do something, I wouldn't even turn around and look at her, so she kind of started thinking something was wrong. So after a bunch of testing, we found out that I have permanent hearing loss. And so going through that whole process, my mom, probably one of the best things my mom has ever done, my parents have done, is basically treat me like a normal person, per se. And when I was going through school, the teachers would want me to go to the counselors would recommend special classes for special needs. Not that that's wrong or anything, but my mom always said, my kid has a hearing disability, doesn't have an intellectual disability. So the point is, she always told me not to use it as an excuse. I was in 3rd grade, and it was just about the point where I was really getting bullied. My mom would put my hearing aids in and tape them to the back of my head, and I was pretty much known as the deaf and mute kid at the school. And I was on the bus on my way home one day, and the bus dropped us off at the end of the street. And there was a group of boys that got off the bus with me every day, and they were picking on me that day, and they basically got me off the bus pulled away, and they started kicking me on the ground. And they were kicking me through the sidewalk about 3 or 4 houses down and just basically beating me up until my mom saw this, and then she ran out and basically got the kids off me, but I was in 3rd grade. So I felt very hopeless, and my parents were pretty much fed up with all that stuff going on out there, and that was the changing point of my life, where my parents actually put some money together, got a down payment for a house, and moved out here, and I went to Buckeye. Moving away from that situation didn't change how I was going to be treated. I mean, I was not physically abused at Buckeye, but it was still, I was still different. And what I did was I learned to build relationships with people, and I just learned to try and do things that would make the kids like me, per se. And the first couple of years at York Elementary, I started making a couple of friends here and there, and then more friends and more friends, and actually high school was a pretty good experience for me overall. Life not fair, to me, is not something that you need to think about in isolation, like it's not fair to you, because life isn't fair to anybody if you can look at it that way. So unfortunate things are going to happen. Family members could pass away, friends can pass away, car accidents happen. I mean, on day-to-day life, those things happen, and that type of stuff happens all the time. It's a matter of what you do with it and how you handle it. So having the attitude of life's not fair, I mean, you can sit there and kind of say, yeah, it isn't fair, but what are you going to do about it to spin it around and make it positive?